All right, free plays. We have free plays available in a variety of ways, but really the simplest way to get these is via text message. And you can get a daily free play from both Jim and myself. Actually, I'm out of order here, but I'll go ahead and finish it up anyway. I'm not following the script that our erstwhile producer, John Cranton, has put together. But the hell with it. We'll improvise. Quick mention of my free plays. Now, this is for 2012 and 2013. And these are all archived, so anybody can find them. If you'd have just played a flat $10 on every free play I gave out, you'd be up about $700 on a $10 bet. Obviously, if you're playing a dime on those games, you'd have $70,000. But I'll be honest with you, if you're playing a dime on the games and you're not calling my office, that's kind of silly because it's not the latest information available. The games go out pretty early, and sometimes late information will change that. So anyway, the free plays have been a real big profit producer, and off to a little bit of a slow start in 2014, but we're not going to win them all. And stay with them. They're going to produce like they always do in the long run. My free play every day, yours via text message by texting COKIN, C-O-K-I-N, to 313131. And Jim, yours are just as easy to get. Just shows up on the cell phone every day.
That's right. Dave, you just text WINNER, W-I-N-N-E-R, to 313131, and I'll send you a free play right to your cell phone. WINNER, W-I-N-N-E-R, to 313131.
All right, let's go to a basketball game. Iowa State and Texas. Iowa State, they laid an egg on Monday in a huge game against Kansas, and that was the biggest game on their schedule. You know, I stayed out of the game ultimately because I just couldn't figure out the status or how effective Kane was going to be. He had just a nasty, nasty ankle sprain last week, and he was listed as doubtful. And I didn't think there was any way he'd play in the game, to be honest with you, after seeing the injury over the weekend in the game they lost. And then here comes the information on Monday. Well, he did the shoot-around, feels pretty good. Game time decision. As soon as I saw game time decisions, like, this guy's going to play. And sure enough, the line took off on the game. Iowa State ends up being about a 2.5-point favorite. I didn't play the game, so it didn't matter to me. But then Iowa State went out and they just laid a stinky, rotten egg. They played a bad basketball game. I think Kansas is in their heads, to tell you the truth. This was not the Iowa State team we're used to seeing. The problem is, and then Iowa State's better than Texas, okay? The problem is, I don't know how they react to that. Now they get 2 straight losses, and I know how much they wanted that game, and I know how much the crowd was really revved up at Hilton for that game. I mean, every time the Cyclones made a little bit of a run, the crowd went nuts. But, you know, they just couldn't get over the hump, and Kansas ended up winning the game. I think there could be a bit of a hangover, and I also wonder about Kane's ankle here. You know, that's still a sprained ankle, and I think he probably had some 800 milligram Motrin or whatever in his system and managed to get through the game. But I'm not so sure he's going to be effective or even playing in this game. We'll have to wait and see on that. Texas is coming on. It's funny, Rick Barnes, when he's had teams that were expected to do a lot, they haven't. But when he's had teams that were a little bit, you know, under the radar, so to speak, if you can be under the radar in Austin, Texas, but just weren't expected to be that good, these are the teams that he's gotten the most out of. I look back through Barnes' career, and I think I'm fairly well convinced that he's a guy who's a very good coach with okay players and is not a great coach with blue chip, you know, super blue chip players. It takes a special breed to coach the future NBA studs, okay? You do have to approach things differently. It's very difficult, actually, because, it's just a different mindset and a different approach that has to be taken. I like the job Barnes is doing with this team. I was very impressed with them going to West Virginia and winning against a team that shoots the three well, which Texas can have some trouble defending, and that could be a problem here. But I think the situation favors the Longhorns. I'm not locking this in as a play because it's early and a lot can change between now and the day of the game. But, John, I'm going to side for now with the Texas side.
You know, this Iowa State team it's so fun to watch them on offense. Top 10 team in scoring. Really not a deep team. They use 6 to 7 guys and run all night long and run teams into the ground in the second half. And what the two additions to the team, Hogue and the one you mentioned, Kane, they were kind of supposed to be role players this year. They turned out really to be stars. So they're turning what was a very good Iowa State team last year into a real good team. But a couple of weaknesses. They've lost 2 games, and they can be soft on defense. They gave up 87 points to Oklahoma, and then the game Monday, 77 points to Kansas. They allowed 49% shooting, but what really stands out, though, they're not a big team up front. Kansas killed them 53 to 36 on the glass. You really have to keep that in mind because this Texas team, yeah, they are the youngest team in the Big 12, but like many young teams, they're great at home, 10-2, and they're very big in that front court with Ridley and Holmes. Ridley in particular is 6'9", 285 pounds. We saw them against West Virginia on Monday. On the road, they won the rebounding battle 49-30 against the Mountaineers, and that's a weakness that Iowa State has that can be exploited. So this is a game where I would look at the home team and the rebounding edge that certainly favors Texas. And when you look at last year's games, that's just what happened. Home teams won both. Iowa State won by 20 at home, but then Texas came home, shot 51% for the field, won in double overtime, but they had a significant edge. So I would lead to it home court and rebounding. But do keep this in mind. Iowa State has been undervalued for a while, 41-20 against the spread when they face a team with a winning record, and a very good bounce-back team, although it didn't happen this week, Jim. They're still 12-5 against the spread after a loss, but I would lead toward home court and rebounding.
Well, you both analyzed the game perfectly. There's not really much to add. The Cyclones are not defending, they're not rebounding very well, and they're getting killed on the board. Texas is a team that's bigger, more physical. They can rebound and probably will out-rebound them. You look at the stats after this game, I think you're going to see Texas had more rebounds, probably even on the offensive board as well. And then the Cyclones don't seem to be defending the three very well as well. So those things, and they're coming off double losses, you would expect Iowa State to bounce back with a big effort, and I think you'll get a big effort from them. The problem is Texas is coming on, and that win, the way they won last night at West Virginia was very impressive. And they bring that home. You know, these young teams, after they play preseason games and scrimmages and everything, and then they play almost 20 games so far, they're not that young anymore. You know, they're experienced, they're coached, they're not making the same mistakes they did back in the beginning. You know, yeah, they go from young to, you know, middle age real quick. You know, and so Texas is playing very well. And if you have these flaws now, I think Kane will be fine because Kane came back and played very well last night. He has 4 days off. They can get therapy and so on and so forth. But whether Kane or not goes and plays well, Texas has got, I think, the ingredient with Barnes leading them, head coach. I think Texas is the right side here.
All right, let's do a little best bet stuff and recap what we've got for special offers. And I hope you'll take advantage of these either with Mr. Vegas, or Jim, or myself, or all of the offers if you want to get random, just a little more varied opinion. Let me start with you, John, and update everybody on what Mr. Vegas has got this weekend and a best bet as well.
Sure, I'll go for a best bet. We're looking at the total in that Iowa State-Texas game. I think it's going to be up-tempo because that's the way Iowa State plays. We saw how good Kane was off the injury, and Texas last year shot 51% at home, and they certainly could get some high percentage shot in the front court. I say also Iowa State is on a 35-17-1 run over the total. They're also 19-8 over the total in Big 12 play. Mr. Vegas for the weekend, 3 big games going this week. You can get all 3 for $10. It's going to be 2 college games of the year as well as the NFL playoff total of the year. 1-866-896-1627.
Well, I think the spot favors Texas. I don't know if this will make my card on Saturday. Obviously, we don't know what the number is for the game yet, and I do want to get updated injury info. But I think Texas is in a better spot than Iowa State here. So I like the Longhorns certainly right now. This is one of my more simple offers, or simpler, I should say. More simple is incorrect grammar. The bottom line is it's a cinch offer. Take advantage of it. $15 is going to get you the rest of January. It works out to $1 a day, and you'll get all my action plays in all the sports that I handicap. Now, I don't do soccer. I know that's actually a burgeoning marketplace. There's more and more people getting involved in the English Premier League. I don't know anything about it. and I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to pretend I know something that I know nothing about. The games I do know about are the NHL, the NBA, college basketball, and what we've got left in football. You're going to get all my action plays in those sports, and you will also get a big window play that I've got tonight. Everything for $15, $1 a day. Good chance to pick up some serious profits over these last couple weeks of January and have some fun in the process. Make sure and call for the offer at 1-866-896-1629. That's 1-866-896-1629. Jim, if this were 20 years or 10 years earlier, I would be saying to myself, I got to figure out this EPL because it's a booming marketplace. But I missed the boat on that one. Fortunately, there's enough good stuff to keep us both going. And you have just cleaned up in the mainstream sports that we have here in this country this year, the NFL in particular.
Well, yeah, it's been a good year. And as far as the EPL, if we need some EPL handicaper, we'll find somebody out there in Europe that probably knows what the hell they're doing and we'll hire them. Because I don't think any of us know anything about it. As far as I got two offers. First of all, in the NFL, I'll give you two sides and two totals in the games. That's $20. Now, I also have a monster basketball offer. Saturday game of the year, it's $100 online. The January game of the month, that's $100 online. And a high roller platinum release, $500 online. That adds up to $700 for three big plays. You can get all three plays, the $700 value, right now by calling 1-866-841-1655. And it's not $700 if you make that call. It's $29. So you got $20 for the NFL sides and totals. And you got $29 for the three huge plays in basketball. 1-866-841-1655. Make the call. You're going to win.
Make the calls and take advantage of the offers, and it's a lot of fun, too, because the guys in the office they're terrific guys. They bet the games themselves, so they're going to be sweating right there with you. I can guarantee you that. And we think you'll end up in the profit column in a very nice way. So we hope you'll do that. We hope you'll also watch all the editions of Proline that are available online. Get some good information out there that we want to impart, and we think you'll profit by it. So for John Critton and Jim Feist, I'm Dave Koken. Thanks for watching this edition of Proline, and have a great weekend.